Alright guys, welcome aboard. This is going to be just a quick and dirty flight here. This is just want to record something really quick in the new Just Flight Piper Archer 3 here. Picked this up the other day. It just went on general release, so you can go pick it up at the org store or at the Just Flight website. So it's you can see kind of outside it's pretty cruddy over here. We're at Murrieta French Valley Airport in Murrieta, California. And thought we'd jump in the plane. We'll see if we can't do a little scud running here. It's kind of cruddy outside. Ceilings, I think, are around 1,000 or something like that. We'll see. But I look out my window because I kind of live in the area. And there's a little sun starting to peek through, broken layer. So we'll see if we can't take a quick hop here in the new Archer and give it a little shakedown flight. You can see it's pretty dark outside, so I'm going to turn on my flashlight just in case here, but let's get fired up here. We get the battery master on, alternator fuel pump, we get our left magneto on. Let's get our nav lights on over here, and we'll turn up our interior lights here. Double check and make sure our door is latched. Get our fuel pump on and get our mixture rich, and I'm going to go ahead and turn up all of the lighting inside the actual cockpit. So you got 3 switches here. One's for the buttons, one is for the panel lights. We'll turn those all the way up, and then avionics all the way up once we fire up the avionics here. Alright, we come over to here, we hit, you can see the buttons are all now lit up. Let's go ahead and hit the starter. And I think we're away. Bring the power up just a little bit there. If you take a look over here, you can see we're about 800. Keep it right there. Avionics master on here. Turn on that one. That's the transponder. We'll hit VFR and go to altitude. And I think we got COM 2 here. We'll turn that on. Again, we're just going to kind of eyeball it here on the map, on the GPS, and see if we can't get off the ground here. Alright, I'm going to put the pitot heat on because it is a little chilly here. You can see, actually this says about 44 or something like that. It's actually about 52 degrees outside today, so we're a little behind here on the weather. So let's get on our way here. Oh, we can do what? Landing taxi light on, and I'm going to pause just for a minute here because the co-pilot needs to go outside, so let him out, and I'll let him out and I'll be right back. Alright, back in the cockpit here. It never fails. As soon as I start recording, I get a phone call, or the co-pilot needs to go outside for take a pee. Alright, parking brake off. Winds are calm here, so we're going to taxi down to the south end of the airport and take off heading north, because I thought we'd fly over to Chino, which is one of the other airports that I've been working on, putting flowers and grass all over the airport. And you can see I've done that here in French Valley. So far I've done about 3 or 4 flights in the Archer. Really liking it. A little bit of an upgrade from the Warrior with the older interior. You can see we've got all the nice dash here, updated lighting, buttons up top, and all of your engine and so forth. Oh, we got to put on our second master there. The checklist calls for just having the left one on during start. And as you can see, like I said, it's pretty cruddy here. We'll see if we can actually make it over to Chino. If not, we'll divert to someplace else. Spark plug fouling says is yeah, so you can see we get our spark plug fouling. So let me just run it up here. I'm going to hit the brakes a little bit, and let's run the engine up. And you can actually turn that on or off just by clicking the simulate spark plug fouling and vapor lock. Just bring it all the way up. Let's get this thing down to 0, and then I'm going to turn it off just for the sake of the flight here. Actually, I probably need to lean the mixture a little bit there. That might have been why we fouled up so quickly. Alright, down to 0, let's bring it back down to idle here. And there you go, you can see I just turned it off. And actually, it's kind of nice to have this because you can see that the right fuel tank is what we should be on. And I don't know how to close this. Guessing there's an X here someplace. Oh, there we go. Turn it off that way. Let's go over to the right fuel tank, since that one's a little bit fuller right now. You can see all the grass that I've added in the area here. Been kind of playing around with that if you've seen my other couple of videos. Alright, we're going to take off from the intersection right over here because plenty of room here at French Valley. So let's get our strobes on. Take the runway here. Like I said, we're going to be taking off to the north. Pause right here for a second. Or not pause, but hold still here for a second, take a look at everything else. Trim tab needs to be, there's no indicator here, but they basically say neutral, so right around the center. Alright, we'll do a little bit of a run up here. What I want to do is I'm going to trim the mixture here, and I'm going to set this for right around 15. So bring the mixture back, watch that EGT come up to right around 15. Right there looks good. We'll let it settle down. Alright, I think we're ready for departure here. So flaps are up. And we'll just get our view set up here. Alright, parking brake off. Let's bring up the power. Airspeed's live. Looking for about 67, I think, something like that. There we go. Let's rotate. And that neutral flap setting there is just about right. Could have been a little bit more nose up. You can see the conditions here. Pretty nasty. We'll see if we can't climb up above some of the haze here. I'm going to trim up my rudder here. And we do have an autopilot, so I'm going to go ahead and hit autopilot vertical speed here. We're going to go to 900. And I'm going to change my heading bug here. Put that right about 330 heading hold. We'll leave all the lights on. I think fuel pump can come off after takeoff. And again, I'm going to keep an eye on the EGT here, so we'll reset the mixture here a little bit. Start leaning that out. And I would consider that IFR. You can see it's kind of getting darker as we climb up into the clouds here. I'll turn down the volume there a little bit. And we actually didn't set our altimeter, so let me just double check that. Altimeter local one here is 3004. So let's go ahead and just set that. Should have done that before takeoff, but this is just a shakedown flight. So 300. Zoom in on this sucker. 3004. Right about there. We're heading right for March Air Reserve Base. We'll see what their weather looks like. I'm gonna double check it to see what they're currently reporting. They are reporting winds calm at visibility only 1,600 meters, broken 300, so not looking very good. Just barely seeing the ground there. Now it should improve as we get past it, because I think Chino and like Riverside are actually a little bit better visibility wise. We'll keep climbing up here though. We're going to climb up to like I don't know, I'm hoping to get sort of above some of the cloud decks here. Let's take a look up there. Cruddy, looking all the way up. Lean the mixture here a little bit more. And keep an eye on our airspeed, and we're going to reduce our rate of climb here to 600 feet per minute. And we'll let the autopilot fly it here for a little bit as we climb out through the clouds. I'm going to go let the co-pilot back in. I'll be back in a minute or two. Alrighty. Yeah, getting chilly up here, so we've got our pitot heat on. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at some of the dash here. We got pitot heat, nav 1, 2. This is the radio master, avionics master. You got an autopilot master here. Let's go ahead and put the defrost on. See some sun coming up. AC, we got vent. Let's put that on low, or fan, sorry, vent fan. See, it's getting lighter out here, so we might actually climb out through some of this. We're starting to see the ground here. We'll keep on going up to about 6,500. And if we take a look, so here's March Air Reserve Base, and then zoom out a little bit more. We've got Ontario, Chino over here, Riverside right here, so we'll basically do a turn over here and try to go into either Chino or Ontario. We'll see what it looks like. Let's take a look at the weather here. Yeah, you can see it's starting to kind of break up. Very hazy. Got a little bit of Looks like we're kind of on top of the clouds right here, just about. Kind of interesting. I see it better on my OBS than I do on the actual screen here. Alright, there's 6,500 feet. Once we get 6,500 feet, I'm going to just hit the altitude button right there. And we'll go ahead and start throttling back here. Keep it just at the top of the green arc here on the RPM. You can see right there. This is kind of the one thing I do like much better than in the Warrior. It was just, at least the way my views were set up, you couldn't see the RPM gauge. You had to go to a secondary view or kind of look around. It was blocked by the yoke. At least here, just sort of front and center, you can see what you need to see right here. At least at the top end, because you're always making adjustments there. I'll leave the landing light on since we're flying in this crud. Let's do a flyby here really quick. You can see landing lights on the Archer here, 3 are on the wingtips. Let's turn this down a little bit and we'll go outside, get a view of the plane. Get a good zoomed in look here. And I'm flying the US registered livery here. November 609er 2 uniform. And one of the nice things is you can also turn on and off the wheel skirts there, which actually does give you an improvement in airspeed by about, I'm just guessing. I didn't look at the documentation, but at one point I was flying one of my test flights just after I bought this the other day, and I turned them off, and then my airspeed dropped by like 4 or 5 knots or something like that. There we go. See some sun. Look at the underside here. Zoom out a bit here. And you can see our landing lights here on the wingtips. I'm going to turn them off. Turn them back on. And just coming up to the top. Almost over the top of Riverside. Yep, there we are, right there. March Air Reserve Base. Let's go ahead and turn left. We'll turn westward over here and see if we can't get into Chino. So Chino's right there. Right there, right south of Ontario. So we'll go ahead and come right over the top of Riverside Airport right here, and then try to get into Chino. Keep an eye on the weather. And I'm using my heading bug here, just changing that around, sort of eyeballing it. I guess we can turn our landing lights off here. I have a switch for doing that. Or, sorry, I have a keyboard mapping to map to the switch to do that. You can see some of the clouds there. And the backside of March Air Reserve Base. Okay, I'm going to bring up my excuse me, I'm going to bring up my FS Global Real World Weather Injector. Take a look at Chino. They are reporting, alright, not too bad, not too bad. Just 9,600 meters visibility. Few at 4,000 feet for sky cover, which is good. So they're improving. Let's take a look at Ontario. They, unrestricted viz, or 2,800 kilometers. Or sorry, not 28 kilometers. And sky cover few at 1,100, which is right next door. So, I think we might be able to get in here. Visibility is definitely improved here. Frame rates are dropping here though. We're at 20. Yeah, X-Plane's a little weird. Sometimes it's like I don't know what causes the frame rates to drop. You know, I'll be flying in similar conditions, and I'll have like 45 on the frames, and other times like right now, I'm just touching on 20. Now I am recording, so that kind of takes a bit of a frame hit, I noticed. So, but not 20 to 40, or I mean, you know, not 40 bringing it down to 20. Might just be some stuff loading along with all the weather and ortho and everything else, but as long as we can maintain 20 plus, we're okay. There's Riverside Airport right down below the nose here. And I think we're going to start our descent here because we need to get down. So I'm going to hit vertical speed and I'm going to reduce it down to 1,000. Let's start our descent down. Bring the power back here a little bit. And we'll actually put our landing lights on. Go ahead and zoom in over here a little bit. There we go, Chino. As soon as we get over the top of this, we'll start turning inbound to Chino. Definitely a little bit clearer here than it was over in French Valley. Hopefully we don't get a weather update and screw up our approach here into Chino. You see doing almost 130 indicated here. Let the power back a bit in the descent. Make our slight left turn here over to Chino Airport, which is just past this little white blob, I believe. I think that's a big warehouse there. Do one more flyby here as we descend down. If you can hear that, that's the co-pilot. He's getting antsy. There we go, starting to see the runways over here at Chino. There we go, a little bit improving weather here. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and kill the autopilot, and you know, I haven't tried, I was just using the autopilot switch here, so I'm going to hit the trim just to see if that does the same thing. Yes, it does. Alright, cool. Wasn't sure about that. I can turn the autopilot off. Back on. just in case we'll need it here. I don't think we will. Go ahead and increase the mixture a little bit. And I think we'll land on the right-hand side runway right here. I forgot what the actual runway number is. So the Archer 3 has got 3 flap settings, not counting full up. So I guess it really has 4, but up. Not sure about the actual degrees. Let's see if there's a placard anywhere. Checklist. We got a checklist. Here we go. Let's see, we got airspeed, first turns and such. Let's see if there's one for the flap schedule. I don't see anything on the dash. How about down here? Nope. I'll have to take a look at the manual for that. All right, let's get back on our approach here. All right, so I'm going to bring the power back. Put the mixture up a little bit. Yeah, we're a little bit high here. But power all the way back. Mixture a little bit more rich. Bring the nose up here and let it let our airspeed bleed off. And see that this is that warehouse I was telling you about. I know, car by Sing, gotcha. It's because I got it all the way back. Alright, there's 100 knots. First notch of flaps in, second notch of flaps in. Let's bring the power up a little bit so we don't ice up the carb there. And go to full flaps. We'll dive down for the runway here. You can see all that grass that I've been playing around with, adding it into the fields. So touchdown speed or final approach speed is, I think it was 67. Yeah, I'm glad the weather cleared up here. Would have been crappy to do the first flight here recording without some nice weather. Alright, there's about 67. Final touchdown speed, power back over the numbers. Let's try to keep it on the center line and this smooth touchdown. There we go, 90 feet per minute. Kind of drop the nose there a bit. Go flaps up and hit the brakes here a little bit. Bring the power up again. I do notice that you got to keep the power up a little bit, up above 800 RPM. Otherwise, the plane starts to kind of vibrate there, and that's that vibration you see. All right, landing light off. Let's go. We'll park straight ahead. What the heck? Yep, co-pilot is ready to get out of the plane. Strobe lights off. And of course, see again, getting blocked here, the RPM by the yoke. So I got my power up a little bit. Here we go. Mixture's rich already. We're gonna park it right over here. I love parking it here just because I think this grass looks nice in this field. And we got a few palm trees here. Got the mowed lawn here next to the tower. Oh, you know what? While we're here, what the heck? We're actually going to taxi around, and I'm going to give you a little show here. You know, I've been playing around with this scenery with the world editor. And I've added a little bit of scenery. I've been just kind of, this is Chino's, just, if you watch my other videos, it's sort of my playing around with the world editor airport. I've been adding grass and all this other stuff. Let's see, I think this is where I want to go. Yep, down here. And we want to go around that building and do a little bit of a fast taxi down here. I've been trying to add different scenery elements, you know, trying to see how detailed I can get. And really just playing around, sort of a little bit of a self-learning tutorial for myself here. And there's a little courtyard straight ahead over here at the Planes of Fame Museum. So I've been playing around putting some scenery things in there that are there in real life, and I'll show you what some of them look like. Some of them don't look very proper here, I'm not sure why. As you can see, these benches right here seem to be floating in the air. Got a few folks standing around right there. Alright. Let's put it right there, put the parking brake on. Go back to my cockpit view here. That parking brake's all the way up, and just leave our plane running here. I'll show you what I've been doing here. So yeah, park benches look all right here, except I'm not sure why. I think these are two different types of benches, and they are there in real life, per the Google, satellite views. But again, like I said, they're floating for some reason, whereas that one is not. With the palm trees over here, and these little hedges that go around them. I'm not sure if they're actually hedges in real life here. I think they're just sort of like I don't know. It's the best thing I could try. And I put a few ladies over here chit-chatting over their morning coffee. And I figure I'd drop them in here for, what the heck. Alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed that first look at the Archer. I know it's kind of a quick and dirty video, and not much to it, but I wanted to get something up in the old Archer here. Maybe we'll ask some of the ladies if they want to go for a flight. Anyway guys, till next time, take care.